I do want to start there, and we can talk about the MLS production. The first thing that was great, I think we mentioned this yesterday briefly, but the quality of the broadcast. After watching a game in it looked like 1080p, maybe I assume it's 1080p. After watching an MLS match in 1080p, you're like, it almost feels like you're like, why weren't they doing? They couldn't do this before. Like even on a regular like ESPN or Fox broadcast, it didn't seem like that quality that I was watching on Saturday.
In fact, when we were at the Adidas event, I commented, or I think it was Mike might have commented to one of the Adidas reps that, hey, the new kits look great. Somebody said it. And we just had a short conversation about the kits. And we're like, it's a big change from the last 2 years where it seemed like you guys weren't trying very hard. And, I just got like a big wide eye, like, yeah, why would you suggest that, dude? It was like, oh, do you know that we don't know?
You can't say the quiet part out loud, Alexis, bro.
But something tells me that, even with the production of it, it seemed like maybe the other partners previous to Apple TV Plus were like, okay, well, I don't think we're getting them back, so we don't need to try as hard. We don't need to upgrade. But it seems like this is like fresh and new, Right. It's like buying new furniture for a new apartment. You know what I mean? They're like, all right, we don't, you know what I mean?
Right. It's just like starting kind of from the ground up.
Right.
And I watched the Orlando New England Revolution game, and it just like, again, just the fact that it looked as good as it did, I just immediately, to me, raised the credibility of the league, right? Because
it does. 100%.
Like sometimes I'll casually watch a game in Argentina, or casually watch a game in Portugal or something that's on like futbol TV or whatever. I'll watch it and I'm just like, okay, I assume they don't have like the proper satellites to send me this image in a quality that
you don't think what I think, which is like a guy with a camcorder just doing this.
But it's not that. It's not just camcorder. It's just there's something about the how the image is just delivered. Maybe locally it might be clearer.
A big issue for Americans for a long time viewing, especially stuff from Europe, as lower quality is because especially in the UK, which I think set the standard for Europe, they shoot everything in 50 frames per second.
Okay.
Which when it's converted to 30 or 24, it's 29.9, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But for 24 for film, everything looks weird. That's why European shows seem like they were shot on like camcorder, like that.
Right.
Why are you moving too smoothly? You know what I mean? It's like that type of stuff. So I think that was a big issue for the games as well. But now that it's like a standard across the board, things do look different. But like, there's times where I'll be like, oh, the Uruguayan, Clásico, let me watch this on Gold TV. And I'm like, is it what you got Motorola razors out there? Why? Y'all spend a lot of money.
I'm glad I can be on the other side of the world and watch it. Yeah. But like, am I too like first world problem-y?
Yeah.
Being like, could this be in a little bit better quality?
This is like when I went viral by, I was like, hey, I just randomly, futbol, when we first signed for futbol, they gave us every channel.
Yeah.
So I just randomly was watching a game in, I believe it was like Nicaragua or Honduras. Or El Salvador. I was watching something and I noted the camera panned and there's barely anyone in the stadium. There's a couple people in the stadium, very, very small stadium. I think in a rural part of whatever country this was in. And the thing panned and there were hundreds of people on a hill overlooking the game, not paying, and there's barely anyone in the stadium. And I was like, I just commented, I'm like, oh, this is so lit. I took a screen cap of it and I'm like, oh, this is so lit. Like mad people just showed up to the hill it's like a street. It's like there's 3 buildings in this town and they're all standing on the street, hands in their pockets watching the game and no one's in the stadium. And it went bananas in whatever country this was. Yeah. Because they're like an American who talks about soccer just watching our game.
It just looks like the Little League World Series with the parents on the grass in the back.
I remember like the ref like whistled at the fans and they were like, get out, I'm not even in the stadium. You can't get mad at me.
About to throw out the parents in a professional game in Uruguay.
Get back to your pickup truck.
So that was probably the best part, and I think it's I forgot the guy's name. There's somebody on Twitter. His name might be Mark or something like that, but he's the guy that he works for MLS and does all the involved in the broadcasts and graphics, and people are just like, He's great. He just like he'll give like he'll post a tweet and be like, "What do you think we should do for the graphic?" And then people are like, "Oh, the score bug has there's a wrong color for the revolution. Can you fix that?" And they're like, "Halftime, it's fixed." It's just like a great. It's like a customer service line.
What a direct line to a guy on his laptop,
which is so cool. But this is how I
did not like the score bug.
You didn't like it?
Nah, it's just it's square. There's like no.
It's very minimalist.
It's minimalist, in general, but also too big.
Okay.
It felt like you were watching a video game stream, where like they put stuff up like on OBS or something.
Right.
They'll make their own. It felt like that. It didn't feel Appleized.
All right, whatever that means.
Put the scores in Apple Watches, bro. They should go all in.
Just really integrate all the products.
Right. In fact, just make the frame someone holding an iPad, and that's how you're watching it.
The one thing I did notice was the transition wipe.
Whoa, wait a minute. Trish Murphy just said, anyone else get the free MLS season pass from T-Mobile today?
Yes, I did get that.
That's a T-Mobile thing?
Mm-hmm. So
I have T-Mobile.
Everybody, if you have T-Mobile, you will get MLS season pass.
You have to download the T-Mobile Tuesdays app.
Right.
Which I did not know for a while until they gave away a free Popeye's chicken sandwich, and then I downloaded it on every device. And I'm not even slightly making that up.
Guys, just like setting alerts.
Bro, I'm running around a different machine.
How many?
Yeah. I'm calling D. She's like, I'm saving someone's life. I'm like, could you pause for one moment?
Everybody on the family plan, get a Popeye.
Hola, ma, mira, tiene que tener un app que se llama T-Mobile Tuesday.
You walk through explaining to your mom 100%. How to install the app so you can get
FaceTime. Ponme en FaceTime, ma. Mira, un sándwich de pollo frito. Mira, te doy mitad. Te doy la mitad. I'm splitting with her. I don't even give her the whole thing.
Bro.
Llama tía.
So I did see that earlier today. So if you do have T-Mobile, it does. I hate that they did it this close because I have T-Mobile. I mean, also, I'm a season ticket holder.
Look, Steven Perales said the same thing you were probably about to say, which is I paid a month, canceled it, and now I'm seeing only new members can use the code.
Bro, that is a crime, bro.
You've dealt with customer service more than anybody should. Dude, what's that guy's name? Mark? Message Mark. See if he can.
That is wild. So yeah, I know a few people will probably be in that, in that position. So hopefully, maybe the T-Mobile or maybe Apple could maybe if you call, maybe they could do something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hit us up. We'll fix it.
Their customer service can't even help me with my phone. I'm sure they're going to help you with their season pass.
Apple known altruistic corporation.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good first introduction to what MLS is going to look like for the next decade. And
do you think this will have a net positive effect on the league? Because we asked a lot of questions regarding moving it to behind this paywall. For the most part, I think it's something like 90 games are behind a paywall, right? Mm-hmm. Moving it to behind a paywall. Do you think that's going to grow the league? Do you think it's going to have like a desired effect on the league? Because I think upping the value of it is going to up the clips. It's going to draw a lot more attention. But there still is that question of is there enough meat in MLS? Not to make it about food again. Is there enough meat in MLS for people to decide, yeah, now's the time I'm going to care? If they haven't cared already. Everyone in our chat, for the most part, unless Jamal's here, cares. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I get that everyone here would be excited for it.
I mean, it's a risk, clearly, but a risk that, Apple is very much willing to take. They want to get into sports. And will it work? It's difficult for me to ask me that question because I'm going to watch it regardless of where it goes, right?
Well, you can possibly think hypothetically.
In general, I do think the good part is a lot of people have Apple devices. Apple will be essentially marketing MLS Season Pass heavily to its own user base, and if they can get 10% of those people to subscribe who otherwise would not watch MLS, that's a huge amount of money. So
that's the question, though. Is there the thing that entices them to see it? to at least pull the trigger.
I mean, this is the where the marketing experts have to come in and figure it all out. I don't know. I mean, what makes you care about a sport? That's such a very difficult.
A league is different than a sport because there's a lot of people that care about the sport and don't care about this league. What's going to convert them? Some people think it's maybe superstar names.
Sure, but then also
Insigne.
But there's also the United States is a interesting project because there are also a lot of people who don't care about the sport that you can try to win over to get them to be a customer.
Do you think that's more prudent than? Is it easier to convince an NFL fan who doesn't like soccer to watch MLS, or is it easier to convince a Premier League fan who doesn't watch MLS to watch MLS?
Easier.
That's a huge.
Yeah, the easier I would have to assume would be Premier League fan. But
I think you might be wrong because at least they may have a preconceived negative connotation of MLS, where an NFL fan they don't know what to expect from soccer. They're like, I heard Messi good. I don't know why I gave you all a Southern accent. I'm going to get emails. I'm so sorry. It was very immediate. When I think NFL, I think ye, and he thinks ha. I don't know. But I think it might be easier to convince. I mean, and I'm contradicting the point I was making earlier.
Right.
It might be easier to convince non-soccer fans to watch MLS than it is someone who may already have a negative connotation, or MLS has a negative connotation to them.
And we agree. So look at that. No debate here. We're all good.
Did we agree?
Kind of.
Kind of?